Hi, I'm Annie Fitzsimmons. I'm your Washington REALTORS Legal Hotline lawyer. I want to focus today on the Buyer Brokerage Services Agreement, Form 41, lovingly referred to as the BBSA, and specifically paragraph 5, which is where you and your buyer will negotiate the amount of compensation you will receive when you represent the buyer, when you fulfill the goals of the BBSA. In paragraph 5, you will identify a specific amount of compensation. And there's 3 different places you can identify an amount of compensation if the seller is represented. And if the amount would be different, assuming you're the limited dual agent, you could identify a different amount. Or if there is even a yet again different amount, if the seller is unrepresented, then you can identify that amount. So there's 3 different places to identify compensation in paragraph 5, but in each place, there is room to identify a specific amount of compensation. And here's what I want you to get from this video. Whatever the amount of compensation is that you and the buyer have agreed to in that blank, that is the amount of compensation you are allowed to take. You cannot take more. If you and the buyer agree that you will be compensated 5 chocolate truffles and the listing firm is offering 1 more than 5 chocolate truffles. The seller says, I'll pay you 5 chocolate truffles, and the listing firm says, and if you write that offer not later than October 1st, we'll pay you 1 more chocolate truffle. You can't take it. If the seller is offering 6 chocolate truffles and not 5, you can't take them. You can only take the 5 chocolate truffles that you and the buyer agreed you would be paid. You cannot write your Buyer Brokerage Services Agreement, paragraph 5, to create a range. You can't say, I'll take anywhere from 3 to 5 chocolate truffles. You cannot say, I will take whatever, using the words as seller offered, whatever seller offers, I will take. You can't do that. Brokers often want to write as offered by seller. You can't do that. You are limited to the amount of compensation that you and the buyer agree as written into your Buyer Brokerage Services Agreement. Now, as is true of every contract, the contract can be amended. If you and the buyer agree to amend the amount of compensation you will earn, then you can certainly amend the Buyer Brokerage Services Agreement. You may agree to take less. The buyer may agree to pay you more. If the buyer is going to agree to pay you more, that amended Buyer Brokerage Services Agreement better be entered before before the buyer enters a purchase and sale agreement where the seller agrees to pay you more. But certainly the BBSA can be amended by agreement of the parties just like any contract. And you can agree to take less, or you can agree that the buyer will pay you more. But whatever the BBSA says you will be paid when the buyer enters a purchase and sale agreement, that is the most that you can take from any source. If you have questions on this topic or any other, please send me a question by visiting warealtor.org. Thank you for being a Washington REALTORS member.